Hey everyone, it is me again, your friendly neighborhood blogger who has seen his fair share of investment potholes and career detours. Today I want to talk about something that gets thrown around a lot, especially when things don't go our way, and that is luck. We all say it, we've all felt it, that sting of bad luck when something falls through. But I'm starting to think we might be giving luck a little too much credit or maybe too much blame for how our lives turn out. This thought really hit me when I was scrolling through comments on my dating and job search videos. You know, the usual internet wisdom. It is all luck. You're just lucky. He doesn't get it. He has just had it easy. And for a while, I let those comments dig at me. It is easy to focus on the negative, especially when you're trying to share some honest lessons from your own mistakes. But then I stumbled upon a comment that really stuck with me. A simple phrase, volume negates luck. That one phrase resonated deeply with my own journey, especially all the bumps and bruises I've accumulated trying to figure out this whole adulting and investing thing. Let's be real. Some people are born into situations that give them a head start. I recognize that I'm one of those people in many ways. I grew up in a stable home, had parents who supported me, and in a country that offered opportunities. I'm relatively healthy, and yeah, I guess I'm not entirely unattractive, maybe a solid 6 or 6.5 if I'm being generous. These are things that I considered genuine luck, things I didn't earn, and I'm incredibly grateful for them. But does that mean every good thing that has happened in my life is purely because of this initial luck? I used to think that, or at least it was easier to believe that than to confront the countless failures that led to anything resembling success. Let's unpack this luck thing with some real-life examples from my own rather unglamorous past first, my career. People often point to an early internship I got through a family connection, and yes, my aunt and uncle helped me get my foot in the door, doing what was essentially grunt work for $14 an hour, cleaning closets and plugging in monitors. Was there an element of luck there? Absolutely. It was a low-level internship. Nothing fancy, but it was a start. But to say that is why I'm where I am today, making a decent living, well, that is where the luck narrative gets a bit thin. That $14 and her gig was just the very beginning. I wasn't just sitting there hoping for more luck to fall into my lap. I was actively trying to change my situation. I went to career fairs, honed my coding skills in school, and endured countless interviews. I even started a business that, spoiler alert, failed spectacularly. It was a constant grind. I applied to literally hundreds of jobs. I have email archives full of rejection letters, polite but firm, saying we've decided to move forward with other candidates. It didn't feel very lucky when I was getting those. In fact, it felt pretty disheartening, but I kept applying, kept showing up, kept putting myself out there. That consistency, that volume of effort, eventually led to a job offer, not through another family connection, but through pure, persistent effort. And yes, talking to some random person at a career fair, I can assure you, going from $14 an hour to a six-figure salary doesn't happen by sheer luck. There is a lot of deliberate action, a lot of late-night studying, a lot of networking, and a whole lot of rejection involved. After that first full-time offer, I wasn't done. I was still hungry for more. For better opportunities, I continued to apply to jobs even when I was perfectly employed. I probably failed 99% of the time. I could show you hundreds of emails saying, "We regret to inform you that we're moving forward with another candidate." Each one stung. Each one made me question if I was good enough, if I was wasting my time, but if I hadn't kept up that volume of applications, I never would have landed the job I'm in today. It was a numbers game, and I was committed to playing it. Now, let's talk about my dating life. Another area where people love to throw around the luck card. Some might say I was lucky to meet my partner. And on the surface, yes, it felt that way. I wasn't actively looking, I was on vacation, and things just seemed to click. But what they don't see, what I rarely talk about, is the absolute ocean of rejection I navigated before that. The endless swiping on dating apps, the awkward first dates that went nowhere, the times I was friend, zoned, the ghosting, the being left on red. I've got enough screenshots on my phone to write a tragicomic novel about online dating. Each rejection, every failed connection, felt like a punch to the gut. It certainly didn't feel lucky, but each one also taught me something, whether it was about myself, about what I was looking for, or simply about developing a thicker skin. These rejections, in a strange way, prepared me for when the right person did come along. It wasn't just a sudden stroke of luck. It was the culmination of all those messy, sometimes painful experiences. I remember countless evenings spent at home after another failed date, wondering what was wrong with me, feeling that emptiness that comes with repeated disappointment. But I never stopped trying. I kept putting myself out there, kept learning from my mistakes, kept refining my approach. It was a long, arduous process, filled with moments of self-doubt and frustration, but I kept going, and that persistence, that willingness to endure the rejections, ultimately led me to where I am today. It wasn't a sudden, magical moment of luck. It was the result of consistent effort and a refusal to give up, even when it felt like the odds were stacked against me. And then there is YouTube. Oh, YouTube, my current platform for sharing all these hard-earned lessons. Some people see my channel growing relatively quickly and exclaim, "Wow, he is so lucky the algorithm picked him up." And it is true, the algorithm definitely played a role in giving some of my videos a boost, but what they don't see are the years of failed attempts before this. My very first foray into YouTube was when I was 14, doing Call of Duty commentaries, using my squeaky teenage voice. Let's just say, those early videos are best left buried in the internet archives. I tried again years later, then again each time, minimal views, little to no traction. This current channel, it is my third or fourth attempt at this whole YouTube thing. I made 25 plus videos on this channel with barely 100 views on most of them before 2 videos suddenly caught fire. It felt like a breakthrough, but it wasn't an overnight success. It was years of trying, failing, learning, and trying again. It was volume. I remember those early YouTube days, spending hours editing videos only for them to get a handful of views. It was discouraging, to say the least. I questioned whether it was worth it, whether I was just wasting my time. But something in me kept pushing forward. I tried different games, different formats, always trying to learn and improve. There were periods where I gave up, only to be drawn back in by that creative itch. This time around, on this channel, I was more determined than ever. I committed to a consistent upload schedule even when the views were low, even when it felt like I was talking to an empty room. I analyzed what worked for others, what didn't work for me, and I kept experimenting. And then, after months of consistent effort, after making video after video with little to no visible result, something shifted. 2 videos, out of nowhere, gained traction, and suddenly, the channel started to grow. It felt like luck, but it was luck that was earned through relentless effort and a refusal to be defeated by past failures. My life, it turns out, has been a constant state of rejection, and oddly enough, that is what has allowed me to negate the role of pure luck. It is like a numbers game. The more times you try, the more lines you have in the water. The higher your chances of catching something, of something eventually working out. If you only try once or twice and then give up blaming bad luck, you're drastically limiting your chances. Take fishing, for example. If you only cast one line into the water, your odds of catching a fish are, well, not great. But if you have multiple lines in, your chances increase with each one. It is the same with job applications, with dating, with creating content. You have to keep casting those lines. You have to keep trying, keep putting yourself out there, even when it feels like nothing is biting. I'm not saying luck doesn't exist, of course it does. But I also believe that we often create our own luck through sheer persistence and effort. It is like the old saying, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. If you're not preparing, if you're not putting in the work, if you're not creating those opportunities, then even if luck does come knocking, you might not be ready to answer the door. I've been rejected countless times in my life, in my career, in my personal relationships, in my attempts at creative endeavors, and honestly, I'm proud of that. Because each rejection taught me something, honed my skills, and pushed me forward. It is why I'll likely succeed more often than I fail in the long run. If I hadn't gone through all those failures, all those instances of bad luck, I wouldn't have nearly as much to share with you all today. I wouldn't have these stories of what not to do in investing, of how to navigate career changes, or how to approach dating with a bit more resilience. I think about my early investment mistakes, the ones that cost me a good chunk of my hard-earned savings. I was chasing quick gains, listening to shady advice, and betting big on things I didn't truly understand. It felt like bad luck when the market turned, or when a hyped-up stock tanked, but looking back, it wasn't bad luck. It was a lack of knowledge, a lack of discipline, and a dangerous get-rich-quick mentality. Those failures, painful as they were, forced me to change my approach. They made me slow down, educate myself, and embrace a more conservative, long-term strategy. Now, when I talk about investing, I'm not just sharing theories. I'm sharing lessons forged in the fires of my own financial blunders. It's not about being lucky now. It's about having learned to minimize the impact of true bad luck by building a solid foundation. So, when you find yourself blaming bad luck for something that didn't go your way, take a moment to reflect. Is it truly just bad luck? Or have you perhaps not put in the volume yet? Have you truly exhausted all your options? Made all the attempts you possibly could? Are you learning from each setback and adjusting your approach? My message today is simple, yet powerful. Volume negates luck. Keep learning new skills, keep networking, keep applying for those jobs, keep going on those dates, keep creating that content, keep putting as many attempts out there as possible, because eventually, one of them is going to hit. One of them is going to take your life to the next level. And when that happens, you'll realize it wasn't just luck. It was the culmination of all your effort, all your resilience, all those times you refused to give up. You have the power to change your own luck. Don't let the fear of rejection or the belief in inevitable bad luck stop you from trying. Keep going. It is almost inevitable that something good will come into your life eventually. Remember, every lucky break you see someone else get often has a long, unglamorous backstory of consistent effort and countless failures. The overnight success often took years in the making. The person who seems to effortlessly find opportunities has probably been networking and building relationships for a very long time. The investor who seems to always pick winners has likely studied the market for thousands of hours and made many losing bets along the way. It's about the consistent application of effort, not just waiting for lightning to strike. I want people to feel empowered, not disheartened by their own journey. Life is a beautiful, messy adventure, and it's full of ups and downs. But if you keep trying, if you keep putting in the work, if you keep learning from your mistakes, you significantly increase your chances of finding those moments of luck. You become your own lucky charm. You show luck who is boss. And that, my friends, is a truly powerful feeling. I hope this resonated with some of you. It is a tough world out there, but we're all in this together, learning and growing, one mistake at a time. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think below, and be nice in the comments. Okay, until next time, peace.